Hello, good evening, good morning, everyone. Welcome to different parts of the people who join us. Okay, some from Canada, some from Malaysia, and we have others audience from different countries as well. Welcome to our international prop chat. I'm Mandy Chen, head of IQI International Sales. I'm your host today. So just a little bit background of our program. We will be live on every Friday, 9:30 p.m. GMT plus 8 at IQI International Sales Facebook channel. And we are hereby sharing all the information related to international property investments, criteria, lifestyle, cultures, experience in the respective country. And every week, we will invite different speakers to come in to share with us their experience, workings life, and as well as the cultures in that particular country. Of course, they will give a lot of professional advice and their market updates in the respective country as well. So feel free to join us. And if you have any friends that would like to know a little bit more on different countries in terms of experience and knowledge, feel free to invite them to join our program, and we will share a lot of interesting topics and story with you all. Okay, for those that who have been missed our or joined our program, okay, we have done more than 14 episodes, okay, since last year. So for those that who would like to join or wants to watch the replay for the previous episode, you can always come to our international sales page or the YouTube channel to watch the replay. So remember to give it lots of support and love, okay, and share it with your friends. Okay, so today, I'm very honored to have one of our guest speaker all the way from Canada. His name is Bob Chow, VP of Operations of Juwai IQI Canada. So today he's going to share with us the topics related to season insights and experience from a successful Canadian Chinese. All right, so without further ado, let's welcome Bob. Hi, Bob. How are you?
Hi, Mandy. I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good too. How's the weather in Canada?
Oh, you know what? Yesterday was still a little bit snowing,
Wow,
but this
okay.
morning is totally getting better. It's
Mm-hmm.
sunshine, everything came up, so feeling like summer is approaching, and
Okay,
that's
that's
make me
great.
happy. Thanks for having me today.
Yep. So maybe you can just introduce to the audience a little bit on your background and where are you from as well?
Sure, sure, of course. Okay, so my name's Bob. I'm actually came to Canada, Toronto, for since 1999. So that's about 22 years now so far. And I came from very north of China, mainland China, the city called Harbin,
Oh,
which
okay.
very close to Russia actually. It's really cold
Yeah,
weather
it's
and
even colder than
far
in
away.
Canada, right?
Definitely, it is. Definitely, it is actually. So that's why it's a easier fit for me to be in Toronto because Toronto also have 4 seasons, but the winter here is just not typically cold, but then it's not that crazy cold like my city previously. So that was like 1999. I came from all the way north of China uh, to Toronto for study, actually as an international student. The reason I chose Toronto because it's very welcoming the immigrations back in the days. And then I spent like almost like 4.5 years to finish my first diploma, and then attend to another university to get my uh, the bachelor degree finished, and that took me about another 2 years. So after 6 years of staying in Canada, I just feel like I fell in love with that.
Mhm.
Um, I just want to spend as much possible time, in Toronto as possible. So I basically finished, graduated, and then tried to apply for my immigration, and then I got it done So I start working as electrical engineer in Toronto for 8 years. Uh, that was a good job per se in Canada. Just like engineering, just like a lawyer or dentist, doctors. Those are very respectful career. But then, unfortunately, for me, I just feel like that it's a really good job, but
Mm-hmm.
I was
With
not
good
really
income as
enjoying it.
well, right?
It is, but it's just a little bit too boring for
Uh-huh.
me. And that's typical Canada. You see, Canada as a country, I always put the name beside the name says the country is actually conservative
Mm-hmm.
uh, in terms of politics, in terms of education, in terms of everything. They're very conservative. So when it comes down to conservative, even choosing jobs or the lifestyle in Canada is it's quite comfortable. Like everybody is just enjoying the life. Everybody is doesn't have to worry about the medical here and there. Everything is covered by the government. So everybody is so comfortable, and even choosing the jobs,
Mm-hmm.
uh, everybody tend to choose some very solid, stable career career lifestyle, and that was same to me too. Originally, that was my planning, but then after a few years in the engineering world, I start feeling like, I can see the 10 years after, how am I gonna do? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna be probably like having little office of mine, reviewing all the drawings, designs, and which is really boring. Like for me, I am more enjoying to go outside in the field to talk to the contractor, talk to the project managers, uh, to go over the designs, all those kind. So I start realizing I'm actually more of outgoing person
Mm-hmm.
instead of sitting in front of the computer every day. So I decided to challenge myself a little
Mm-hmm.
more when I was turning 30 years old. My birthday gift for myself in 30 years old is quitting. So I quit my engineering career and decided to jump into real estate instead,
Mm.
because I think it's more challenging. It is more interesting, and you get to learn all kinds of knowledge from different area, and then you get to meet with different type of people to learn from each other and to make friends as well. And then that actually opens my eyes even further, because I originally I was just looking at the computers all the time, right? So now becoming a real estate person, I can start learn the law. I can start learn how to draft all the documents. I gonna learn how to be a ethical real estate agent in local. Because the Canada's conservative
Mm-hmm.
style in the whole country, that gives the real estate field a very good support from the government. So this is actually career becomes very protected by the government and city, and also a lot of things are gone through the city of the city of Toronto, or the federal of Canada. Everything is supervised by the government, so
Mm-hmm.
everything is very legit. And there's a particular procedure they gotta follow, the ethical. You gotta learn from the school. You gotta get the certificate in order to be practiced in this field. So that's been for me 12 years now. So
Okay, but it's just our
yeah.
curiosities, right? Why do you choose Canada in the first place? I mean, to further your studies. I mean, from China, it's like the other part of world to all the way towards the end of the world, which is Canada. Why you choose Canada? I
Mm.
mean, there's so many other countries. Why Canada?
That's a good question. Actually, originally thinking I was actually applying for Los Angeles
Mm-hmm.
to America, uh, but then I think it's because the incoming immigrants, uh, like comparing with USA and Canada, the Canada is definitely more welcoming the immigrants than the US. And also the education, because I came to Canada as an international student. I wanted to sort of getting a better education. I know the US is also good too, but for a foreign international student, there's a period of time that it's we call transition period time. Uh, we speak Chinese
Yeah.
locally, and then we come down to another country. All of a sudden, I got to speak English, which is not perfect at that time. I need the time for a little transition. So that typically took a person actually 3 to 5 years to fully fitting into the different language environment. And as Canada is more of a multicultural country compared with US, especially in Toronto, it's typically like 140 different languages speaking in the local, and definitely Chinese speaking is actually the main player, one of the main players in the whole nationalities. So the intent was come over and do a little transition, because when in school I get to know Chinese students, I get to know a lot of local students, and it makes easier for me not feeling totally
Awkward.
left out.
Yeah.
That's right. I just want to feel like, even I'm outside of another country, but I still feel like there's a handful of people that kind of reach out to speaking the same language, getting the same feeling too. And it makes myself easier, because when I came here, I was just only 16 years old, and then I got no relatives or friends locally at all. So I definitely need that period of time to transition. That's why I chose to come to Toronto.
Okay. But wow, 16. So that means it's like, do you have any friends that are going together with you to Canada, or you alone that you went to Canada?
Well, it's thanks for my parents. They taught me when I was little. They said, like, you're a little guy, you're a boy. You need to go out the world to learn to yourself and to become a man while you're growing up. So I'm the only son in the family, and they
Wow.
actually they actually want me to do that, but they never thought I can never go back anymore. So
Yeah,
they
they must be very
actually,
sad, right?
well, I got them over to like with me now. So,
Oh, okay.
that's one benefit from it. Like the government welcoming the parents to come with the sons and the families. So that's why it's actually good government. And that when I was trying to come over, it was really sad. I mean, I got no friend at all. I got no relatives, and because it was sort of in China, it's sort of like there was this trend going back in the days. A lot of people actually applying for going overseas, and I got this opportunity through my parents' workplace, and they say, do you want to do that or not? And I feel like, well, why not? Give it a shot, right? So that was either the best decision or the worst decision, because once I came out, I can never go back anymore since then. So that's just an opportunity I got it. So it's still right now when I look back, it was probably still I gotta say the best decision. Is
Okay. So you never regret what you have made. I guess
Well,
this
there
is
was
a.
certain time during my last 22 years. There was like, I would say 3 to 5 years. I felt like I want to go back. That's why actually my family got moved to Shenzhen after I came out to Toronto, because I think Shenzhen is more weather friendly to my parents, because four seasons spring. Um, so I went back to China, and most of the time are actually Shenzhen, and maybe sometimes in Harbin. So that was probably the time that I was thinking to go back, because Shenzhen is a really fast growing city in China. Since my parents are living there, and there's so much wanted me to go back to stay closer to them, and that was the time I was still working in the electrical engineer, like I mentioned previously, it was kind of boring. I was seeking possibilities, maybe, going back to China, do something that I wanted. So I actually ended up working in Shenzhen for 1.5 years as an overseas salesperson, selling the electronic equipment. And that was fun too. Like, that's where I started to get a taste of being a salesperson, entrepreneur. It just feel like a lot of freedom in hand, a lot of creativity that you can do. I just feel like the mindset that it's been changing for me, comparing with working as an electrical engineer. So, but then after 1.5 years, I still decided to come back to Canada. It's because, it's just the lifestyle in China versus lifestyle in Canada. I think I spent too much time in Canada. I sort of like already got used to it. And
so you
then,
already adapt to the Western culture rather than
exactly.
Asian culture.
Exactly. That's the when I say a little bit regret. That's the bit of regret, because I can never go back. I just feel like when I can still go back to China, but then I just feel like I have been spent so much time in Canada and Toronto. I start feeling like this is my home now. Like it don't feel like it. When I go back to China, it's my home too, but it's just kind of busy every day. It's kind of feel like I'm trying to position myself, in local. It's hard. Like, when I was trying to read or write in Chinese, I started forgetting all the words. Like, I don't know how to write them. I can say them. I can recognize it, but I just don't know how to write it. So that's little things that caused me like thinking maybe I should go back to Toronto. And plus, over the years, Canadian Chinese are becoming one of the top nationalities, like top three. Like the first one is Jewish, and the second one is already Chinese. Like for the previously, probably Chinese like after the number 5 nationalities in Toronto. But then over the years, Chinese are just growing so fast in terms of population, and also the Chinese, because we are working so hard, no matter which city, which country we are. So Chinese becomes one of the top nationalities in Canada. Even the government politics, we're getting a lot of Chinese in there too. So definitely over the years, the Chinese residents are getting a lot of respect from the local government, local people, and the Toronto especially are very welcoming, very warming with the local Chinese.
Yep.
That's the
So
better thing.
for those that was just joining us, welcome to our International Prop Chat episode 44. And today we have a special speakers all the way from Canada to share with us his life in Canada. So if you have any question with regards to Canada, okay, or you would like to know more about Canada, feel free to actually comment in the message box and we will try to answer it later. Or if you would think of migrate to Canada, so perhaps this is the best time for you to ask questions with Bob, so he'll be able to help you. So since you were saying that the policy has been like really open up to migrants, okay, is it still very flexible and open up to the migrants nowadays as to compare to like 10 to 20 years ago in Canada?
A good question. Actually, 10 to 20 years ago, I would say it's actually what was harder to get migrant to Canada. Actually, over the years, recently, especially for during the pandemic, actually the government have been take it easy on the migrant policies. To be honest with you, like especially for those who wanted to study in Canada, like international students or work in Canada as a work permit person. Actually, they're the first group of people to the city or the government will consider to have them immigration apply. That easy to get it done than before. Actually, the time when I was applying for immigration, it was actually tough, a little bit tougher than right now because it was not the different government back in the days. There was very conservative in terms of the getting the immigrations done, but then current, especially recent years, having a lot of Canadian Chinese or Chinese Canadian in the country, it's actually contributing the country to grow, to the city to grow, and not only just Chinese. We also get a lot of Southeast Asian to move to migrate to Toronto, Canada, and also Russian. Even Americans. They love to migrate to Toronto. Even they only have like 3 hours different flight. So it's just because of this whole policy. The Canada is actually same size as almost like similar, even a little bit bigger than China, to be honest. But then the livable land are limited. There's actually only a handful cities that are a perfect fit for a resident to live. So most of the area is actually snowing all the time. So, but then comparing with the populations in the whole Canada, it's less than I will say, probably compared with China, there are only 3 provinces, probably even more than the whole country in Canada populations. So that is one of the reasons why the country needs to open up this door to immigrant and to welcome all the immigrants to be local, and also that the country needs these immigrants to give them support in different ways, and workforce, everything, the city infrastructure build ups. Those are required for immigrants to come over, and also China. We had really good relationship with Canada over back in the days. All the whole city infrastructure, for instance, the railways, all those factories, and the big buildings in Toronto, in Canada, or different cities are actually built by Chinese. So those was back in the days when Chinese actually migrating, the workforce migrating to overseas. Lots of them actually stay back in Canada. So they built the country literally. So that's why the country appreciate that too. And especially when dealing with Chinese, they actually were quite open to give the immigration. But obviously, there's different ways of doing it. The best way probably is to study and then graduate and work, and then locally, and the government are going to feel like they want to keep you, right? They want to keep you in the local and contribute to the local countries rather than getting people to go back, right? So, and it offers a lot of good policies to having people to stay, actually.
Wow, that's great. So as a migrant, so perhaps I probably would like to ask this question. So is it easy to get a job, or is it easy to set up a business in Canada?
Well, that's the I would say that's the negative part of working and staying in Canada. It's hard to find a job, I would say, because of the immigration are still in the way, in the process of growing, but then the job opportunities. It depends on which city. Toronto is a little bit better compared with the other cities. So for instance, Vancouver just pretty bad in that sense because it was more of a tourist city rather than a city of like working like in Toronto. Toronto is actually more of a what is called the financial district, just like New York.
Yep.
But then unfortunately, the city is big, but then the workforce is small. Like the people coming in this way, different jobs requirements are different. But then typically they're going to require with local experience. So we call it local working experience. If someone is working back in China or different countries, when they come over here, it would not be recognized.
Oh, okay.
So, and also a lot of university experience probably from different countries, and they come over here and they're not going to recognize that as well. You're going to start from scratch. So that's the tough part. That's where a lot of immigrants are decided to go back, is
Mm-hmm.
because that it's not because like it's not welcoming these people. It's just unfortunately it's hard to find a job. So a lot of like we seeing a lot of like doctors or master degree coming from, like even some people I know, they come to Toronto, they couldn't find a job, and living in Toronto, it's not expensive, but it's definitely not cheap either. So they couldn't find a job, they couldn't support themselves, and they decided to either go back or to find a very hard working job, like you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
make hard money, but then those jobs are definitely not a perfect fit for what their major is. So and that's causing a lot of people actually moving back to where they came from. But then
Mm-hmm.
the people actually stay behind are actually either local educated, and somehow they found a way, like myself, I that's my major. I think the thing that we have to spend enough time to work on is actually the language.
Oh, all right.
Unfortunately, that was the first thing. I have been telling all my friends or relatives that who actually want to send their kids over
Mm-hmm.
or study or work, and I told them you're gonna give yourself a minimum of 3 to 5 years and to fit into the adapt in. And they were asking me, okay, adapting for what?
Mm-hmm.
As a language, no
Mm-hmm.
other than things. So as soon as you pass the language hardship, then you're good to go. Everything is open up for you. And experience is just over the years you can accumulate. But then I gotta be patient. I gotta be work hard at the beginning of a few years. Never felt like, oh no, this work is so hard.
Mm-hmm.
No, gotta start from some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I would say probably the first 5 years, 3 to 5 years is the toughest time for everybody, even including myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was literally came to Canada. I was crying over my roommate's shoulders. I want to go back to China. When I was just came to here, like when I was 16, it was tough. Even new school is tough because you can never understand
Mm-hmm.
what the teacher is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because the language that we learned back in our city, a country, is totally different. Like the English that we learn, it's totally different.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the tough part.
Yeah, you must be a very brave at that time. It's like coming all the way from China to Canada, and yeah. But at the end, you never. I mean, you didn't regret for what you did, and this is
Mm,
probably one of the biggest achievement that you have done for yourself. That to
yeah.
stay put in Canada and right now become a
Hmm.
very successful entrepreneur.
Oh. Yeah, just okay. So success is okay.
Just being humble. Okay, so since you are
Okay.
talking about that, as to compared to the now the cost of living in Canada, is it very expensive if you were to compare to like China?
Um, like back in the days when I just came to Canada, yes, it was very costly
Mm-hmm.
because of the currency.
Mm-hmm.
But now, over this like recent years, as you can see, staying in China, like Asia, I wouldn't say China, but the whole Asian countries are growing, developed, and then currency is getting higher and higher. And then working in Canada, the thing is, working in Canada, as long as you have a job, you're very well paid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not like you gotta find a job that you're paid over under the limit. No, actually, the government is very strict in Canada. There is a minimum payment that no matter which company or employer, they have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely you're protected on that sense. But then it depends, like how much, what kind of lifestyle you're looking for. Obviously, staying in Canada is not gonna cheap. It depends, like, but then if you're just living a regular like lifestyle, the government actually supports you. Like for instance, if you don't make that kind of money, typically, and then at the end of the year, you gotta pay taxes, right? Everybody has to pay taxes in Canada. So the Canada gonna review your tax payment, and they're gonna feel like, oh, okay, so this person is actually underpaid, like not underpaid, but this person is actually not making enough because they have a bigger family, but then they only make so much, and the government actually pay this family, the household, monthly.
Mm.
So, and then also if this person who actually all of a sudden is a single mom who actually have a baby and they're gonna take care of, and the government says, okay, government will pay for you, and pay for the kids, study, everything. Uh, that's we call the country support for the local family. That's why everybody is very comfortable, you know. But obviously that's not the lifestyle that we're looking for. We wanted to, as we grow, we wanted to, get a better life. Then that's where you're gonna work hard. You're gonna, because everything costs money. uh, so it is. You can say if you want to go further and beyond your current situation, obviously it's gonna be expensive. But typically for food, for living, uh, it's not that expensive compared with China or Asian country right now. Probably Southeast Asia is more a lot cheaper, better that way, but uh, compared with mainland China, it's more or less the same thing, to be honest
Okay,
with you. But
probably I
yeah,
can ask a simple questions. It's like probably a mug of Starbucks will cost you like I would say latte. How much it will cost in Canada?
take a guess.
Um, well, I think about $5 to $6 in Canada dollars.
Yeah, so you're looking at probably $5.
Mm-hmm.
It's because Starbucks is more of a premium coffee in local, so it costs a little bit extra. So that's 5.50 or something. You can get a coffee or a mercado. But then if you go to the some like more easier, like have you heard about Tim Hortons?
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
Tim Hortons now is going back to Asia. A lot of cities start having open up. That's also a franchise. It's actually more. Uh, it's actually a Canadian brand. It's actually more popular than Starbucks in
Mm-hmm.
local, and
Mm-hmm.
those are only like you're probably looking at $3
Oh,
for coffee, and then it's similar good. And that brand is actually even more stronger. So yeah, yeah. So $5. I went back to China. I was getting a coffee in Starbucks. It's like what, $20 for me,
yep.
Chinese dollar. So for compared that, it's actually cheaper.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, yeah. That's and also the good thing. Oh, like previously, past the years when I was just came here, there was rarely any Chinese food in
Mm-hmm.
local. You gotta go to Chinatown to have them,
Yep.
and that's very very costly. Um, but over the years now, the Chinese communities are getting large and large, like so big. You literally can get Chinese food, all kinds of Chinese food, not only Chinese food, all over the countries, different countries, like food. You can find it in
Mm-hmm.
Toronto and for a good price, especially Chinese food. Actually, as a Chinese, we're so proud of that. I can eat literally anything that I can find from China now in
Exactly the
Toronto.
same taste like in China.
Exactly same taste. Over the years, though, but because
Okay.
past in the days it was pretty bad. If I can eat some dumplings, I'm already happy.
Mm-hmm.
But now dumplings just typical thing. You can eat squirrel, everything. Like you can consider China have special things, hot pot, other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's all over the map in Toronto and Vancouver. So
Wow.
just
Okay.
because the demand, right?
Yep, yep, that is great. So since you've been in Canada for like you have spent so many years there, so do you actually invest or buy properties in Canada? Because since you are in real estate, so I just wanted you to ask these questions.
Mhm.
Do people usually buy or invest properties in Canada, or they prefer to rent it? So what is the situations over there?
Oh wow, definitely. I definitely want to buy and invest in Canada, especially in Toronto, um, because for a simple reason, yeah, because the Canada, like I mentioned, it's a conservative country when in terms of the government policies, and also most importantly is for the financial district. They are actually very conservative too. So when it comes down to a financial infrastructure set up by the government, they're more conservative than U.S. So so a lot of people actually they buy and invest based on how much they can make. They're not simply say, oh, I can only make so much, but then I'm gonna afford even higher cost thing. No, typically here, everybody, even you want to do that, the government, the bank will not lend it to you because their policy very strict. So over the years, actually, the default rate in Toronto, in Canada, are very low. So nobody actually cannot afford the properties per se. So that's why it makes the whole real estate market in especially Toronto and Vancouver are like very stable, increasing over the years. So you're probably looking at 7 to 10% increase for the condominiums, high-rise buildings, and then you're looking at for the freehold houses or townhouses or whatever, you're probably looking at even 25 to 35% increase over the years. So obviously it's like, you know, up and downs, but then in average, it's just keep going up every year reasonably. And then also the real estate is also because for immigrants, they gotta find a place to live. So actually, the property real estate actually in Canada is one of the largest, like the tax making for governments. So the government actually support and gave a lot of benefit to the local buyers or over foreign buyers to buy the property. So yeah, so but then compare with the investment in other countries, probably you have to be patient a little bit more. Like I can mention, the country is more conservative, so for your investment in Canada, especially in real estate, you're probably not looking at to get a return right away for 1 or 2 years. You're probably looking at a minimum 3 to 5 years to even start to accumulating the returns. That's what, because the whole the politic the what is called the infrastructure, you building slower here, you're building the city, the country infrastructure slower here. Just a typical thing, you want to build a highway, probably in China you only need 1 month or 2 months, but then here you'll probably even need 4 to 5 years. So that's what it is. So investment in Canada is definitely a good thing, but definitely it's not a short-term return thing. You're gonna look at more a medium or long-term return investment.
But in terms of the rental yield, would that be very attractive as well? Since you talk about the supply is probably lesser than the demand, so I would suspect that the rental yield is actually pretty high in Canada.
Oh yeah, definitely. The rental just keep going up all over the years. That's why investors are happy. They're making enough good rental incomes. The reason being also because, like I mentioned, there's tons of international students with or people actually holding the work permit from all over the countries, not only just Chinese. So when they come to Canada, they're not gonna buy property right away because they're gonna familiar. They want to get used to staying in Canada, so they will just rent, right? And also for renters, the government also gave some kind of support. That, for instance, if the students that you need to rent at the end of the years, the country the tax department, they're gonna refund some of the money that you spend towards your rental. So, and that will help also the increasing the rental in Canada. So the rental market definitely in Toronto and Vancouver is booming too. But obviously right now it's pandemic a little bit. It's affected a little bit negatively because a lot of students or workers, they have to go back to where they come from, or have to stay at home to work from home. Uh, Obviously, the rental is going down a little bit, but that's just temporary because as soon as the pandemic's under control, it's going to go back again.
Okay, great. So, as a experienced real estate broker, so where is the hotspot that you think that an investor or a migrants should invest in, especially in Toronto?
Wow, that's a $1 million question. Well, everybody asks me that question. To be honest with you, definitely downtown. Obviously, right now downtown probably is quite, it's kind of quiet, but then downtown is definitely the best spot for you to invest. But then downtown is very costly to live and to invest. So a lot of people start actually expanding to the other areas. But then one thing, when come down to this question, one thing everybody has to understand in Canada, when you purchasing a property, especially that property we call a freehold, is on a certain land, you're actually buying the property with the land. You're not really buying a property or leasing the land or per se like other country or whatever. So that's why sometimes people buy that land, because we all know that property value going down over the years. We call it depreciate. But then the land value is appreciating. So you're actually a landowner. That's why a lot of people decided to move away from downtown to go some other cities, which 25 minutes or 30 minutes or even 40 minutes away from downtown core. Those areas actually having bigger land with bigger house on it, or even you want to tear down the house and rebuild and build a new house, which is very, very, very commonly seen in Canada and Toronto. You can do that too. That's a good investment as well. So you're the landowner and also the property owner. That's why a lot of people are actually moving away from downtown to get a bigger house. So when you come down to that kind of bigger house, you wanted to start looking at a better school boundary. You wanted to start looking at the rate of the return or rental, probably, because some cities actually rentals are better. And also you wanted to see what kind of nationality you are. Probably you want to stay closer to Chinese communities. All right, because for food, for grocery, that's a lot of things to concern. But then over the years, I think Chinese, especially, I would say, are more actively than stays in, I would say, north of Toronto and east of Toronto. When I say that, that means I think probably a lot of people heard about Markham, or Richmond Hill, or we call it Scarborough, which is old town. A lot of Hong Kong residents are living there. And language is definitely something, especially for my parents. When they come over, I have to settle them down in a certain area that they can feel comfortable to speak their own language, because they cannot speak any English at all, and they can go to a supermarket within 5 to 10 minutes walk, or if they want to drive, they gotta drive, right? But then literally in Canada, you gotta drive everywhere to go everywhere. So having a car in Canada,
it's a must.
especially in Toronto, it's a must. The car is your legs. You cannot simply walk, because one block, we call it one block. A lot of time we feel like, oh, it's just one street to another street. If you walk, it will take you 40 to 50 minutes.
Wow.
That's why when I say it's a huge country, a huge city, I'm not kidding. So you gotta have a car no matter what. So that's why we use car driver's license as ID, what they call it, photo ID. Like, when come to China, we have an identification card, right? But in Canada, driver's license is identification card. That ID. So that, because everybody has it, you cannot have, if you don't have the car, I can tell you, it's going to be very tough unless you live in downtown. That's fine. Downtown, because even you have a car, it's hard to drive. It's traffic jam every day. But if you want to live around the city, then you have to have a car. So once you have a car, everywhere is like 30 minutes away, and everybody just love it. And obviously the landscape, the views are a lot better, all around the cities. So the city I was mentioning, Markham, Richmond Hill, are having that, like especially when it comes down to like I mentioned, the government always have this strict requirement for the developers. When you build a community, the government say, okay, you wanted to have say 50 townhouses built here. Okay, I'm gonna give you the permit to do it, but then as a return, you developer gotta give me something back. So you're gonna build a school for me. You're gonna build if the community is larger, you're gonna build a hospital for me, and then you're gonna build a park for me. You're gonna build kindergarten for me. So see, that's how it works. The government asks it back to from the developer and gave it back to the community, so that you will see right away all this money that you spent over years to the government as a tax payment, where did they go? They're all going into the local community build-ups. So that's why living in Canada, even sometimes you're going to pay, like I mentioned, that you're going to pay a lot of like in taxes, but then those taxes not really wasted. You're actually looking at the money going somewhere that you have feeling it,
Yeah, to the welfare of the residents and the community. Yeah, that's great.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So well, I guess we are here. For those that who wants to look for property, now you know who shall you look for when you want to buy a property in Canada or invest a property in Canada. You can always look for Bob. So since he's very experienced and able to share with you all the hotspots and where to buy and the criteria and everything, yes, you'll be able to help. So again, with Juwai IQI, we are here to empower Asians to be a global resident. Okay, so this is actually one of our objective. Okay, so one last question? What is your advice? Okay, for those that who would like to migrate to Canada?
I will say the same thing. Definitely, migrating to Canada is not as hard as migrating to other country and city. Over because it's welcoming everybody, but then you got to be prepared for, like I said, probably the language is the first barrier that you wanted to cross. If you don't feel like this is going to be tough for me, don't think it's just going to be easy. Even though there got tons of Chinese in local, you can feel like, oh, there's no barrier. Yeah, that's just for typical living. But then if you wanted to get a good job, a decent job, and then getting good paid, the local experience, local language that you have to be patient and get it done with. Come over and always the easy part. It's just starting part, but then keep going in Canada. It's something that everybody has to be patient and work hard towards it. The local experience is hard to get, but don't feel like, oh, there's no chances at all. Just get something very basic to start with. It's always better than nothing. So and good thing is in Canada, everything that you do is accumulation. It's accumulation of experiences. Like when I was just came to Canada, like I was in school and somewhat I have to work because I don't want to, my parents pay me all the time. So I have to work in restaurants when I was students. I have to work in the coffee shops and even work in the car shops just to get enough experience. It was tough. Like, when we come to Canada, we felt like, oh, we're studying here, we're having fun. But on the other hand, it's not really about the money, it's about the experience. And the more that I do, the more I get understand the local, how locals to dealing with daily lives. So we have to think like locals. We cannot think like, oh, we're Chinese, so what, right? So in Canada, obviously, that's the mindset has to switch to the local, unfortunately. And obviously, the other part is you got to choose the city. Obviously, Toronto has winter time. A lot of people actually come over, they hate winter time, and a lot of people come over like myself. I love winter time. So that's a lot of people actually says I can quote in Chinese, but then in English I mean something like it's a beautiful city, beautiful country. It's a better lifestyle. It's a comfortable country, but then it's very lonely to live here. That's something I don't know how to translate, but that's just,
No,
in
you can
Chinese it
mention
may
in
sound
Chinese.
better.
You
I
can
can.
mention, yeah.
Okay, well, they say 好山好水好寂寞. Okay, so the
I
reason
don't
being,
I
yeah.
don't think so. It seems like you are very happy. I mean,
Well, it's
the
because
conversations you talk about Canada and everything, I can feel that your energy is like is very good and you feel very happy.
Well, I spent long enough in Canada. That's why my surroundings, my relations are local.
Mhm.
But then when just come down to Toronto, for instance, when I came here, I got no friend. I got nobody's here. I'm so lonely. But then later on, even I got my job in electrical engineer. I still feel like I have a gap with the
Mhm.
local people because I'm still developing myself and I was you can only talk certain things with your workmate or whatever. Just probably just work and all. Like you just feel like there's a distance, there's a gap between person to person. Actually, over the years, I start getting used to it, and that's actually a common thing in Canada. You like we friends, even with the friends or even with relatives. You're not really as close as
Yep.
when you're back
Family,
in
yeah.
the. Yeah, that's right. Because the local thinking is you're on your own.
Mhm.
Even the parents, as soon as this kid turning into 18 years old, you're
Yep.
on your own. Okay, and then the parents are gonna think the same way. They're gonna rely on the kids. Say, okay, you're gonna come back. What? No, they're gonna say, okay, you have your own life. We have our own life. So parents start traveling themselves to enjoy their lives. So this is a typical
Western
we call
culture.
it Western culture thing.
Yeah.
But then as a Chinese, as over the years you spend, you're getting used to that kind of local feelings. But then as a Chinese, good things we always attach the family as well. So we're half like something in between, right? We're not that far away, but then we're not that close either. So, but I think it's a perfect one. But a lot of time when you just came to Canada, obviously that's something you have to get familiar with. Like it's not like people doesn't respect you or doesn't like you. It's just the way it is. Even the friend, probably a very close friend, you don't talk to this friend every day. You talk to this friend probably only twice a week or maybe once a week or even less than once a week, but you're still best friend. That's how this lifestyle turning into. So lonely it is in a certain way, and also for my parents, for instance, they just feel like they got no friends local, right? They only
Mm.
got me. So if I'm busy at work, they're
Mhm.
gonna feel like very lonely. Like
Mhm.
it's so beautiful, the country is so nice, the air is so clean, everything, and the food is so good. But then over the
I
day,
got
it's
no
like they can
friends.
feel like I got no friends. I got what else did I do? So this is probably the I would say negative part, but that's only for certain people. Uh, just have to spend enough time and finding the position of yourself in this country, and that's where the tough part is finding the perfect fit for yourself, and like the language barrier, whatever, you know.
I guess it's like at the end of the days, is the adaptability is the crucial. So if you can easily fit in and adapt to the cultures and all these things with an open mind, okay, I
Yes,
guess things will be better. But if everything
yes,
you close up, so that probably kind of difficult for you to adapt because when you go to the new environments, you're meeting new friends, workplace is different, everything is different. So if you don't really adapt well and with an open mind, so I guess it's probably a bit tough. So a lot of people used to migrate to Canada and end up coming back to their
yeah.
home ground country. This is probably one of the reasons. Yeah.
That's right. Very, very straightforward advice to give. Um, just open up yourself.
Mm.
Just say whatever you want to say. That's a good part of in Canada. Like the reason being is Canadian, no matter what kind of nationalities there are, they're very welcoming, very respectful. and they rather open their arms to hug you. But then you gotta like them, and also you have to you cannot rely on people going to talk to you or reach out to you. It's actually another way. Just say whatever you want to say. For instance, I have something in mind, like I can tell you strictly. When I just came to Canada, I talked to my teacher. As I was so shy, I don't want to talk to him because of my English, and they're just so patient. Oh, slow it down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, even just one word. What
Mm-hmm.
is that? Or second word, like little by little, ask me what is it, and then I was saying, oh, you have this stuff in a class You have shown me this. I like that. That's a good stuff. And the teacher says, okay, give it to you. This is a
Mm-hmm.
gift. So that's how Canadian acts. Also, for instance, if you walk on the streets, you open up the door, the person in the front always open the door for you at the back, especially
Mm-hmm.
for ladies. The gentleman gonna do their job, okay? And then, for instance, you're getting into the train or whatever, everybody is following the line and nobody rushing anything. So, the mindset is actually good, that it's all welcoming. The we call foreigners, all very welcoming. So you're just gonna speak up. Don't be shy. Just speak up. Sometimes maybe you use the wrong thing. Don't worry about it. Nobody gonna offend it anything. So that's, I think, why Canada is actually better that way, because a lot of people actually enjoy being here, is because people to people, it's actually easy, a lot easy. The connections are, the relationship are very easy in Canada. So just speak up.
Wow, okay, that's like a wonderful sharing because we learned a lot today about Canada. Okay, the
Appreciate that.
the pro
Yeah.
and cons. Okay, the do and don't. Okay, so now we know a little bit better in terms of living in Canada, in terms of the working life and the culture as well.
Hmm.
That's good to know. So on behalf of
Hmm.
IQI International Sales, I would like to thank everyone tuning in, and for those that who like our programs, remember to share it with your friends or invite your friends to join us every Friday, 9:30 p.m. If you tune in from different country, GMT plus 8, okay, we will have different topics and different speakers to share with us in their respective experience in the country, okay? So
Hmm.
thank you very much to our special speaker today, Bob, okay, for joining us
Thank
and
you for
give us
having me.
such a insightful sharing. We truly learned a lot, and I hope that all of you will benefit from what Bob been sharing. So if you have any questions about Canada, okay, with regards to properties or lifestyles or some experience, feel free to comment in the comment box. We will try to reply to you. Or if you really thought of migrate to Australia, Canada, you can always look for Bob. Bob are there to actually assist you to look for properties in terms of for sales, for rent. He's there for you. Okay, so
For
don't
sure.
worry about that. Okay, so feel free to contact us if you want to know more information. And of course, later on, we'll put up Bob's contact number if you don't mind, so that
Yeah,
audience,
perfect.
if they have questions, they will actually directly contact you. Again,
Sure.
thanks a lot. My name is Mandy. So I hereby signing off. I wish everybody take care, stay safe. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thanks for having
Bye.
me. Bye, everybody.